Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. What we're going to do today is we'll be looking at our 2025 to 2026 Ohio State Buckeyes football team. We're going to completely break this team down, look at the roster, look at the pieces they lost from last year, look at the pieces that they're bringing in for this year. We're going to break every single game down, game by game, try to predict the outcome for every single matchup. Who's going to win, who's going to lose, what the final scores might be, and we're going to go over all of this. First things first, though, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, do you agree with me, disagree with me? What are your thoughts on all these games? What are your thoughts on what's going to happen for this 2025 Buckeyes team? Let me know down below, and I will make sure that I respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, look down at the pinned comment below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate that. Once the college football season starts, guys, we go over every single football game, both college football as well as NFL. We break every single matchup down every week. We do predictions. We do best bets, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders for every single football game. So if you're a sports fan, if you're a football fan, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. But let's first give some major props to the 2025 Ohio State Buckeyes. They are the defending champs. They won the national championship last season. Yes, they lost a lot of players from last year's squad. They had a junior and senior laden team last year. A lot of guys came back for their senior season just on the mission to compete and potentially win the national championship. Well, they won it. There were times when it looked like it might be shake, but this team came together down the stretch. Think about them losing to Michigan. They overcame that. Ryan Day, his heat was as hot as anyone's in the country. They were putting pressure on him, could not win the big game. He didn't just win the big game, he dominated the playoffs. Our first year of a 12-round playoff series, he went through every single round. And let's call it like it is. He curb stomped every single team they played all the way up to the national championship when they dominated in the trenches at the line of scrimmage versus Notre Dame. Very good game, very close second half game, but the Buckeyes, they won by double digits. You got to give them props. They were the best team, the most dominating team in the nation last year. The big question is, with a lot of those players having left now, will they be able to carry that momentum into this season? Their leader, Will Howard, he transferred in last year. He's obviously gone. He's off to the NFL. They have not fully technically told us who's going to be the starting quarterback, but all signs are pointing to it being Julian Sayin right now. He's the guy that was committed to Bama. When Saban left, he went over to the Buckeyes. This guy was a five-star. He has a big arm. People love his arm. It has a lot of explosiveness. He's accurately, vertically pushing the ball down the field. We know that Ryan Day's type of offenses, they are best when they are vertically moving the ball down the field, opening up that run game. They have the big bodies on the line. They can line up. They can run it down your throat as well. He built this team from the line out last season. A lot of injuries on the offensive line, and still they were able to dominate with one of the best 1-2 running back combos in the nation last year. If it is saying you're going to have a young quarterback, so you have to expect some room for growth here. He's going to be a young guy coming in there starting for the Ohio State Buckeyes. That's a lot to ask from someone, but we know that Ryan Day in this scheme, he's going to have him prepared. At the tight end, they're going to have Claire, and of course, they have Jeremiah Smith at wide receiver. Might be the best freshman wide receiver I have ever seen in my life. He was lighting up. This guy's going to be a top 5 pick once he comes out, but you still have him for 2 more seasons. There's Tate, Innes, Porter, Graham, Rogers. A lot of weapons there. For the running backs, you have James Peoples, Donaldson. So you're getting some young blood there, but you know the Buckeyes, they always have a great running back room. They are wide receiver U. They always produce great running backs. This offense, they're going to be completely fine. Hartline's going to be calling plays, and you have Patricia now calling things on the defensive side. He's an NFL guy. He's a Bill Belichick guy. You know there's going to be zero room for concern when it comes to that defense. Ryan Day finally got a lot of that pressure off of his shoulders, but how is he going to react now that he's reached the mountaintop? Will he be able to sustain it? That is always the hardest thing for these coaches. But let's not waste any more time. Looking at the schedule there up on the screen, you see that we have the entire 25 schedule. If it's a Blue Star, these are the Vegas early preseason predictions. Blue Star means that Vegas preseason predicts you're going to win the game. You will be the favorite. Red Star means Vegas predicts you're going to lose the game. And Yellow Star means it's just unknown right now. It's a toss-up. A lot of teams breaking in new quarterbacks, so we don't know what to fully expect from these teams till we actually see them on the field once the season starts. So we'll just have to wait to see. I'm not saying they're going to win or lose them. We will have our actual predictions video come out in the month of August as we get really close to the football season. But this is what Vegas is saying as of right now. What's the word on the street? Let's get started running through these games game by game. And some might actually make a case that game one is going to be their biggest game of the season. This is going to be a fun one. Saturday, August 30th, Columbus, Ohio. It is at home, thankfully for them. They're going to be welcoming the Texas Longhorns. A lot of people are putting Texas as the preseason number one. No matter where you put the Buckeyes, 2, 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. They're going to be top 5. This is easily going to be a top 5 on top 5 matchup. Two of the best, two of the deepest rosters in college football. Easily, they both have top 5 overall rosters. They are loaded at every single position, but we're breaking in new quarterbacks here. The Arch Manning era has finally started in Austin, Texas. They're going to be bringing that team over here to Columbus, Ohio, and the Saiyan era is going to be starting for the Buckeyes. Which young quarterback is going to be answering the call earlier in the season? A lot of pressure on both these guys. A lot of pressure on Manning as well. Big last name here, filling in for one of the biggest football brands in the nation right now, Texas Longhorns. And of course, the Buckeyes are the defending national champions. They're at home. They definitely don't want to drop this game. If you lose it, it's not the end of the world. You can still go 9-3, 10-2, still make the playoffs. Everything is still in front of you. This is an out-of-conference game. But for bragging rights, you beat this team in the playoffs. You can beat them right now. But as of right now, we do have this game marked as a toss-up. There's too many unknowns here. We haven't seen Arch Manning as the full-time starter yet. We haven't seen Saiyan on the field yet. Too many unknowns, but we will definitely know early season what these teams are made of after game 1. And then after that really tough game, because that's going to be two of the best defenses, two of the deepest line and scrimmage teams in the nation. They're going to be a little banged up. You want a little bit of a cupcake. That's the way that most teams start the season. After that, Saturday, September 6th, you're going to have the Grambling State Tigers coming to Columbus, Ohio. This is going to be a curb stomping. You're going to own them. It's probably going to be like a 58-7 type game. You're going to win it on both sides of the ball early on. But the thing is, saying the reps, getting all those new starters on the offensive line, the wide receivers, the running backs, the quarterbacks, get them the reps they need. So once Big Ten play comes into play here, you are built and you are ready to roll in these new schemes. And then we have the rivalry for the state of Ohio, if you want to call it that. Next game, Saturday, September 30th, the Ohio Bobcats coming to Columbus, Ohio. It's going to be another beatdown, but they'll probably score more than 7 points. They might get 10 points here. 50-10, the Buckeyes are going to win this game, and they're going to be obviously easy favorites. Then you have a bye week. I don't really like having a bye week the weekend of Saturday, September 20th, but it is what it is because coming up right after that is going to be Big Ten play, so you're just able to get rested here. The next game, like I just said, is going to be Big Ten play kicking off Saturday, September 27th. Our first road game going to Seattle, Washington versus the Washington Huskies. This Jetfish team, you know he's a good coach. He's an X's and O coach. Last season's team, first time there, had to completely flip the roster. A lot of transfers out. A lot of guys went to the NFL. He's bringing in a lot of his players here. He's building them through the portal. He's building them through recruiting, but there's going to be a massive talent disparity here favoring the Buckeyes. Washington, they're going to be breaking in a new quarterback, a lot of new skill position players. They actually had a really good defense last season, a top 30 overall defense in the nation. To me, they will still continue to have a top 30 defense. I think this game is going to be a surprisingly very close, low-scoring game, but the Buckeyes are going to pull away late third, early fourth quarter, and they're going to be the favorite, and they're still going to win by double digits. And then our next game, another in-conference game, is going to be Saturday, October 4th, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. This team went 8-5 last season. PJ Fleck's squad, they are always disciplined. They can always run. They come downhill at you, and they always have a top 30 defense. They're a very disciplined, good defensive-minded team built at the line of scrimmage. But again, a massive talent disparity here. They lost Corey Heatherman. He was their great defense coordinator. He's off to Miami now, so they have to replace him. New scheme here. They will still have that physicality. How do they match up? They had a pretty good season last year. The Buckeyes should be favored here. They should win this game, but this is another one of those games due to them kind of forcing the game and slowing the game down. They're going to kind of force you to play their style of football. The Buckeyes in the end will be able to win it, but I do think it's going to be a close game. But the Buckeyes' talent's going to pull away in the end. And the next game that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be one of those teams that a lot of people are giving a lot of offseason praise to. Saturday, October 11th at the Illinois Fighting Illini. We know who this team is. We know what this team is. This is a line of scrimmage trench warfare team. They want to beat you at the point of attack. They want to own the line. Obviously, the Buckeyes are going to be the far more talented team, but the Fighting Illini had a really good team last year. They came prepared to play. They upset a lot of people. They're going to keep these games close. They're going to keep them lower scoring. They actually had a pretty decent offense last season. Usually this team, they are known for running the ball, ground and pounding, but they were actually doing a lot of play action last season. They're going to have a really good defense. They're going to try to keep the Buckeyes, keep that offense off the field. If they are, get as much pressure on Saiyan as possible, get some tackles for a loss, get up in his face, hit him. He's a young quarterback. Try to force some errant throws, try to force some turnovers. That's the Illini's chance to potentially pull off the upset here. But I do think that ultimately the Buckeyes are going to be the team that wins. But this is another one of those games. You were seeing kind of a little bit of a common theme here. A lot of very close games. But that's what's happened when you have some growing pains here with a young quarterback. I think he's ultimately going to pull it away because the Buckeyes will be able to lean on that run game. But the Illini are going to force you into those third and long passing situations. Sam's going to have to step up big here. But I'll go with the Buckeyes being the favorite team. And then after that, we're going to have another in-conference game Saturday, October 18th at the Wisconsin Badgers. This game is in Madison, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, it just never really panned out for them. Luke Fickell has not been able to get this team back on track. He hasn't been able to resurrect the pass run game that the Badgers have become known for basically the last 2 to 3 decades. They've always had a great run game. They always had a top 10, top 20 defense. He's had neither of those things so far, bringing in a lot of fresh starters here, a lot of turnover, trying some new schemes here, trying to generate something. Wisconsin, though, they're going to be outmatched, but they are always one of those teams, for some reason, the game is either a complete blowout first half, or it's very close first half, then they get wore out second half. I have the Buckeyes playing a close game first half, but again, pulling away, winning this game by double digits by the second half. And then you have a much-earned bye week coming up the next weekend, Saturday, October 25th. You're going to be off, and you have, to me, what is probably the biggest game of the year, hand down. The very next weekend, Saturday, November 1st. You love having a bye week right before this. Really, the guys that made the schedule really set you up perfectly here. You're going to be playing the Penn State Nittany Lions. They are coming to your home. This is your chance to beat them. Penn State, a lot of people think that they should be the number 1 team in the nation right now. This team is talented. They have Drew Waller coming back for his 18th year of college football. That's the way that it seems right now. He was also a 5-star quarterback. They're going to have one of the best, if not, well, to me, the best 1-2 running back combo in the nation this season. Allen, Singleton, they're going to be cycling those guys out. They're going to have fresh legs. They're going to have a great offensive line. They're going to have Knowles as the defense coordinator. Trust me, he knows the Buckeyes roster very well. He's a great defensive mind. Top 5 overall defensive coach in the nation. Some people might say number 1. Point is, they're going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to do play action. Yes, they did lose their number 1 weapon from last season at the tight end position. But if you can control the ground game, you can win this game. But this is always one of those games that Penn State, either they have the lead really late or they're just under it. They're 3-4 points down and they just can't close it out. That's the way it plays out every single season. But we have this marked as a toss-up. Buckeyes fans, I'm not saying you're going to lose it. Do not panic. Even if you do, everything is still in front of you and you're probably still going to make the Big Ten championship game. But right now, it's a toss-up because Penn State is going to be a top 5 overall team in the nation. So will the Buckeyes. They'll be top 5, top 10. Both of these teams are so talented. This is one of those games that can honestly go either way. It's too early to call it right now. I want to see Sayan on the field in a live-action Division I college football game before we make any prediction on this game. Buckeyes might be a little beat up by that game. It's a very physical game. After that, Saturday, November 8th at the Purdue Boilermakers in West Lafayette, Indiana. This game, they better not lose this game. This has potential upset written all over because if you lose the Penn State game, you might kind of lose sight of what really matters. I do not envision that happening. They're going to be favored here. They're going to win it by a lot. And then the next team is bringing in Nico at the quarterback position. Saturday, November 15th, the UCLA Bruins. This game is in Columbus, Ohio. Seems like there's a lot of home games for the Buckeyes this season, but props to them. The Bruins, even with Nico, is that going to make a difference here? To me, probably not in any way whatsoever when you're playing the Buckeyes. They are far too talented. They're going to be coming after him. They're going to be hitting him. They're going to be getting quarterback pressures, tackles for a loss. They're going to be all up in his face. The Buckeyes are still going to have one of the best defenses, one of the best scheme defenses in the nation. They're going to win this game. They're going to be heavy favorites. Now you're starting to get to that point of the season where you're looking at potential playoff positioning, potential positioning within the Big Ten to make the Big Ten championship. But do not overlook these last 2 games. You'll want to make sure to keep your eye on the prize, and that is that current week, making sure you win the game in front of you. Don't get caught looking too far forward like you did last season, and you lose to Michigan. The very next game here, Saturday, November 22nd, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights coming to Columbus, Ohio. Rutgers, they're not a talented team, but don't forget who their coach is. Greg Schiano. This guy knows how to coach hard school, like hard-nosed, old-school style football, line of scrimmage, trench warfare football. They are going to be physical. They want to control the time of possession, the game clock. They want to keep your offense on the field. They want to take the longest drives possible. 8 to 10-minute drives, just completely suck time out of the full quarter and just drain your team over the course of not 1, 2, 3, but over the course of 4 quarters. But the Buckeyes, hey, look, they can do that too. They have no problem. They showed last season they're not just a dink and dunk spread offense. They can line up, they can run it at you, and they can play that physical style of football too. Keep your eyes on Rutgers. There's always the upset potential here, but I have the Buckeyes winning this game. And how about this next game? Let me just tell you right up. If you're a Buckeyes fan and you say there is 0 chance the Buckeyes are losing to Michigan this season, if you lost to them last year and you won the national championship last year, you can definitely lose to them in any season. anything can happen. This is a rivalry game. This is one of the biggest rivalries in the nation. Might be the biggest rivalry in college football. Anything can happen in a rivalry game. It showed that last season. Michigan had an awful season and they still beat you. So anything can happen. It could go the opposite way. They could be having a great season and you beat them. It goes both ways in rivalry matchups. Saturday, November 29th, the final game of the regular season at the Michigan Wolverines in Ann Arbor. This is a lot of pressure on this game. Ryan Day, he wants to beat Michigan. He wants to get that off of his shoulders. That is one of the final things left over that it's been a while since he's been able to grasp, is beating the Michigan Wolverines. I don't care what happened years ago. I'm talking in the last couple seasons, because even his best year, winning a national championship, he did not beat Michigan that season. Some people say beating Michigan means more to them than the national championship. I don't really think that's the case. You would be crazy to me, but that's what happens in rivalries. They are not sound. They are crazy. Anything can happen. Michigan also replacing a lot of pieces here, but this team's actually been recruiting pretty good. They've been working the portal. Bryce Underwood coming in, highly ranked 5-star guy. But again, he hasn't really started he hasn't started a college football game. We don't know what to expect of him yet. If he is the starter for Michigan, by this point he'll probably be playing a lot better. You would rather play him at the beginning of the season when he's a little rusty, but by this point he'll have settled into that scheme. But Michigan is not some pass-happy team. They want to run the ball. They want to play 1980s style football versus you. And Ohio State Buckeyes, they've shown that they can do that. We have this game marked as a toss-up because it's one of those games, even last year you dropped it, so you can definitely drop it this season, but so can they. It works both ways. You have to mark this as a toss-up till we get closer to that game and we see what these teams are doing with their first-year starters. That's what I want to see. How does Sayin look in the Buckeye scheme? How does Underwood look in the Michigan scheme? But no matter what, this game's going to be a fun one to watch. You got to make sure to circle it every single season. Guys, that's our early season predictions and look at the 2025-26 Ohio State Buckeyes schedule. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, by all means, drop them below. You agree with me, disagree with me? What are your thoughts on these games? Make sure to let me know, and I will make sure that I respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, look down at the pinned comment below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate it. Thank you for watching.